Most internet trends are a fleeting pile of hot garbage, but the Smashburger phenomenon is totally worth it and here to stay. In this video, I'm going to teach you my favorite way, shout out to the legendary celebrity chef Sean Brock, to make Smashburgers that are juicy, cheesy, and crusty, with an addictive burger sauce, so pay attention grill dads and grill moms. This recipe starts with a custom blend of ground beef, formed into balls, some thinly shaved white onions, an addictive burger sauce, the goat burger cheese and country American, and some potato buns and seasonings. Full disclosure, I don't always do this extra step, and if you don't have the time to grind your own meat, regular 75-25 ground beef will work just fine. But because I wanted to make a video about Smashburgers, and we had some new friends coming over, I had to try something new and elevate the already legendary Smashburger into something immortal, and try making my own grind. I have done grinds before, but this one is the best I've found, and I'm shamelessly copying one of my favorite celebrity chefs, Sean Brock's burger grind from Husk, his restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina, with the same meat cuts and ratios here. The grind starts with about a quarter pound of bacon chopped up. After you have diced the bacon, it's time to roughly dice 12 ounces of flank steak. I remember going to Charleston, South Carolina shortly after graduating from college with my girlfriend, shout out no happily married wife of 10 years, and we went to eat at Husk, which was the talk of the town at the time. It was impossible to get a reservation, so we sat at the bar. And I didn't have a lot of money, so I ordered the cheeseburger. But that moment changed my life, because I had never had a cheeseburger taste like that one. So here's to you, Sean Brock, for changing my life and helping to send me down this path. Anyways, I digress, as I often do, but after you've diced your flank steak, it's time to cube up roughly 3 pounds of chuck roast into large pieces. And this completes our mixture, so now I need to start grinding the meat. Whenever I'm grinding meat, I always try to pop the cut up meat in the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes before grinding to get it a bit colder and prevent fat from melting out during the process. So in total, the proportions for the grind are a quarter pound of bacon, 12 ounces of flank steak, and 3 pounds of chuck roast. This will make 10 double cheeseburgers. The first grind looks something like this, and this might make a good cheesesteak actually. Speed is your friend here because you want the meat to be cold when you grind it to prevent the fat from melting. After this first round, I switched the dies out to the larger die, and now it's starting to look like ground beef. But Sean specifically says to take half the mixture and run it through the smaller grind, and in Sean I trust. You can see the fat mixing in with the meat more in the finer second grind as it turns the mixture from a red to a more pinkish color. I'm not sure why he suggests doing that, but he's a legend, so I'm sure there's a great reason. Again, working quickly, combine the mixture together and put it in a large bowl. Cover it airtight and put it back in the refrigerator until you're ready to start making burgers. Shout out Kirkland brand anything, by the way. Big Costco guy here. No free ads, but seriously, Costco's the best. Not because of the unbeatable price, but because I can trust the quality of most anything I buy there. In an era where consumers have way too many choices and are easily duped by savvy clickbait marketers, Costco gives you one high-quality choice for a great price. So I made the ground beef mixture the day before to save on time the day of when our friends were coming over. The second thing I made the day before is this addictive goat burger sauce. This part I would not skip. It's worth the extra time and love you're putting into it. I promise it will separate your burgers from the pack. I want you to start by finely grating up half an onion. I used to just be a plain Jane burger guy, with cheese, ketchup, and mustard being enough, but now I prefer mayonnaise on my burgers. One thing I've learned in my old wise age is a good burger sauce can elevate the burger to a higher level. And this is my favorite burger sauce recipe. Don't dice the onion because you want the onion flavor to permeate the sauce more, and then add a couple spoonfuls of sweet pickle relish, a couple squirts of mustard, a dash of vinegar, some smoked paprika, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and last but not least, mayonnaise. QP mayonnaise is the best around. Growing up in North Carolina, it was always Duke's for me, and I still love Duke's mayonnaise, but ever since I was introduced to QP mayonnaise a couple years ago, I'm torn. They're 1A and 1B in my book, but QP gets the nod. QP mayo was created in Japan in 1919 by someone who interned in the Ministry of Agriculture and Commerce in the United States and discovered mayonnaise. In true Japanese fashion, they perfected mayonnaise over the years with their unparalleled attention to detail and emphasis on quality. You see it time and time again in Japanese culture with their whiskeys, cars, beef, electronics. They just care so much about making the best version of something. Anyways, this burger sauce will get better with age, so making it ahead of time is a great idea. Everything up until now you can do the day or two ahead of time, but going forward it's best to do the rest of this the day of. I want my onions sliced thinly and uniformly because they will be cooking for less than 3 minutes. This kitchen tool I'm using here is called a mandolin, not to be confused with a musical instrument, but this tool is very useful if you need to get something sliced very thin and uniformly. It's also somewhat dangerous, and my wife refuses to touch it anymore after butchering her thumb slicing oranges for marmalade a year ago, so be careful. Hello, beautifully sliced white onions. Maybe it's just me, but there's something so aesthetically pleasing about seeing these onion slices. It's probably just me. When making Smashburgers, I always prefer double cheeseburgers, and I found that roughly a 3-ounce patty size is the best burger to cheese to onion ratio. Instead of forming patties for the Smashburgers, it works best to form them into balls. First take, no joke, still got it. I've made a lot of these over the years, but I always like to double check with the scale. If there ever was a mise en place recipe, it's this one, because everything will go really fast, so get everything ready before you head out to the griddle. I'm totally addicted to cooking outside on this Blackstone flat top. There's something about cooking under the sun that lights up the Neanderthal caveman side of my brain in a good way. If you don't have a griddle, you can do this in a cast iron just as well, but this technique won't work well on grill grates. You want the Blackstone to be on high heat and oiled up before you put the balls down. Working quickly, place all the burger balls onto the griddle top and then come right behind it with a generous pinch of seasoning. I'm using the mixture of salt, pepper, and garlic powder here. You can see how hot the grill is. So let's get some sound on here so you can hear that sizzle. There it is. If only Elon or Zuckerberg would invent something useful like smell-o-vision, you guys could be right here with me. That sizzle is one of life's greatest noises, and also double activates the Neanderthal brainwaves. Like Pavlov's dogs, I'm starting to salivate already. After you have seasoned all the burgers, working quickly, top each burger ball with a healthy layer of thinly shaved white onions. The onions need to be thin here because they will cook for like 2 minutes when we flip. Putting them on top serves two purposes. Firstly, it allows you to smash the balls into patties without getting the meat mixture stuck to your smashing tool of choice, which has happened to me many times before. As soon as these are all smashed, it's time to flip, which from start to finish took me about 2.5 minutes. I'd like to get that down to 2 minutes max though, but look at the beautiful crust forming on that burger patty. The second reason you put the onions on top is so they can fry up in the burger fat that released onto the griddle. Beef and onions are made for each other, and when they meld together like this, it creates something beautiful. As soon as you have flipped all the burgers, immediately put your American cheese onto the patties. For years, people would laugh at me and act like they were too good for American cheese and preferred the bougier cheddar or Swiss on their burgers. But slowly, one by one, I have converted most of them to see the light and become American cheeseburger believers. It's the best type of cheese to use because of its salty, gooey meltability. That doesn't mean you have to skimp on quality, and I'll never buy American cheese that says cheese food product and is wrapped in those individual plastic slices. I like to assemble these on the griddle, and there's a great money shot. Oh my god. Talk about Pavlov's dogs. These look incredible. Check out the char on those onions. That's exactly what you want. Okay, now for the piece de resistance. And similar to lasagna bolognese, assembly is my favorite part of a smash burger. I've toasted these potato buns on the griddle and the burger fat as well. Toasting the bun is important to get some textural contrast and toothiness to each bite. A healthy Daisy dollop of burger sauce, plop a double patty down and douse it with another dollop of Daisy burger sauce, and you're done. Now I always hate when people push down on their meats or burgers in internet videos because you're squeezing all the juices out of your food. But alas, I relent as I horcrux part of my culinary soul because I'm trying to improve my YouTube engagement metrics, and maybe squeezing all the juice out of my burger will help. It does make them look so damn good. These Smashburgers are always a huge hit, and the Sean Brock grind is definitely something I will do again. Not every time, but it did make the burgers better, more tender, with amazing beef and subtle bacon flavor. Sean Brock moved to Nashville and opened a diner burger joint called Joyland a couple years ago with something called a crust burger. Sean, if somehow, someway you end up watching this video and making it all the way to the end, this is my PSA for you to publish your crust burger grind mixture next, so I can try to make that at home too. The Husk burger will always have a special spot in my coronary artery clogged heart, and as always, I believe if you embrace slow foods, discover new flavors, and cook with love for those you love most in this world, you can change your life.